Okay, so what you're seeing currently is actually not the S25, not the S24, not S24 FE. It's actually the S25 FE. Yes, you heard it right. It's the fan edition variant that is going to succeed the S24 FE, or let's call it, it's the fan edition variant of the S25 lineup. But this is what it looks like. And the reason behind this looks so much like the S25 is that it's gonna feature certain things of flagship models too, like a flexible OLED panel. Now you might be thinking, it did have a OLED panel, what's so new about it? Well, the fan edition models in the past didn't have a flexible OLED panel, they were the rigid ones. So it did have a chin, quite a bit of chin at the bottom. Even the side bezels were thicker, but that's done purposefully. The S25 FE on the other hand will have a flexible OLED panel, means the connectors are not gonna sit right where the bottom chin is. They're actually gonna fold the display underneath. So this is very similar to the technology you have been seeing on the flagship devices from Samsung for many years, even including the S22. So that simply can mean that even though we are getting 1 to 120Hz adaptive refresh rate based 6.7-inch panel, but this time it's gonna have much thinner bezels and symmetrical all around, even if not that much slimmer, just to differentiate it from the S25 lineup. Samsung definitely gonna do that, because after all, it's still gonna be way cheaper of a phone. And you know what, Samsung definitely gonna do this because Samsung wants their flexible OLED displays in the mid-range flagship phones as well, just to make the Samsung's own display arm to have more sales in the flexible OLED department, reaching up to 151 million units. But that's a different thing anyway. But other than that, the side design to the rear design all gonna be very similar to the current S24 FE. So no changes. But because of the slimmer and more symmetrical bezels, the dimensions will change. It will shrink quite a bit. And the dimensions will look like this. It will be 161.4 mm tall, 76.6 mm wide, and 7.4 mm thick. Now if I compare that, the last phone, the S24 FE, was 162 mm tall, 77.3 mm wide, and 8 mm thick phone. So this phone is gonna be way more slimmer, like that's really good, but also much less wider and taller compared to that phone, while offering the same 6.7-inch panel. So you see where the bezels will go. They'll go away, mostly. Now, another change in the display department is actually going to be pretty much flagship thing. It's the 2600 nits of peak brightness. So definitely they're borrowing the display from the S24 lineup, I think. And the last one did have 1900 nits of peak brightness. So the differences are not that much, but it's still a good thing to see. So Samsung has already confirmed that the Galaxy S25 FE is coming sooner than the S24 FE's launch timeline. So we are gonna get it by August, and also in the battery life department, because of the slimness, the Galaxy S25 FE will have a smaller battery than the S24 FE, which already had 4700 mAh, not even 5000. So this time, rather than getting upgrade, we're getting a downgrade. So the battery life will be even less than the S24 FE. Now, other than all of these things, it might even come with Qi2 wireless charging support. More specifically, it's gonna be the baseline power profile. That clearly means that it will not have built-in magnets like the iPhones, but you can actually have a third-party or first-party cases or compatible cases to have the same kind of functionality. Now, in terms of cameras, the S25 FE will get a 12-megapixel selfie camera, a good upgrade from the 10-megapixel unit. And this is they are borrowing from the flagship models. And then there is gonna be 8-megapixel 3x teleporter camera, just like the older model, and the 12-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera, and the 50-megapixel camera coming from the flagship models, the S25 lineup, which is again very similar to the current S24 FE because the camera hasn't changed at all. Anyway, other than that, storage is gonna be very similar, UFS 3.1 based 128GB model and 256GB model based on UFS 4 storage. Anyway, it will be powered by exynos 2400 chipset. Now, some are calling it's exynos 2400E gonna power the device, but I think they're probably gonna be sticking with the exynos 2400 processor. It's a deca-core chipset. It's fantastic. It has one prime core running at 3.1 GHz, two other performance cores running at 2.9 GHz, three other performance cores running at 2.6 GHz, and four efficiency cores running at 1.95 GHz. But then it has been inside the S24 FE. Then why they're gonna use the same processor again inside a phone that is called as a successor of that phone? So it doesn't make sense to me. So for me, I think if they really want to stick with the exynos 2400, then that definitely is for cost cutting, and I don't think that's a good state. Oh, by the way, the price hasn't been leaked yet, but it's gonna be very similar to the S24 FE at launch. But then over time, in 3 months period, it will go cheaper, way cheaper. So let me know about your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about the S25 FE now, knowing that it might come with the Exynos 2400 chipset again?
And yes, if you want, you can get some crazy cool wallpapers up on my website. A link down below. Until the next one, bye and take care.